I'm not trying to be funny, but are you jealous, girlfriend, or are you the?
That's understatement. I'm very jealous. Hammer has a problem with cheating. That's the only issues we have.
The only problems you have with him is the fact that he cheats.
Constantly.
Did he? Okay, and did you drop all the charges on here that
I
we
did. I
talked?
had all of his charges dropped. I actually went to the detective before he was even arrested and told him, hey, this is not really what happened. I was mad at him when all this happened. I would told him that if he went back with Crystal, that I was going to call the people on him because I knew that he was on probation. And
So
I knew that
I
I was basically trying to threaten him and make him stay with me is pretty much what I was trying to do.
And buckle up, everybody, because we got a new sheriff in town, Mr. Sheriff Prater of Louisiana, who's now the standing parole board member. And man, does he have a sense of humor? Now we're about to watch the parole revocation hearing for a man who was locked up, but claiming that it was really his infidelity. It was his jealous girlfriend that made it all up. Now, this is something that we see time and time and time again. And the parole board, they're going to have to make a decision whether or not they're going to believe him. It might be possible. Maybe she is jealous girlfriend. Wouldn't be the first time something like this had happened. But the parole board, they're ultimately going to have to decide. With that, let's jump in.
All right, good morning. We're going to Refuge Detention Center. We're going to talk to Mr. Darnell Crow. Are you Mr. Crow? Okay, you're on mute, Mr. Crow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so your name is Darnell E. Crow. What is your DOC number?
703-970.
Okay, and we're here for a revocation of your parole hearing. Do you have a form in front of you that explains the process that you signed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that talks about an attorney. We're not going to pay for you an attorney, but do you want to hire an attorney? You chose not to, but if you change your mind, you don't want to hire an attorney, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So would the staff there at Refuge introduce yourself, please?
Sergeant Marsh.
Okay, Sergeant, thank you for hosting us today. We appreciate it. And we're in Baton Rouge at headquarters, and you can see from our name tags who we are. And Mr. Crow, we need to talk to you a little bit about what you're accused of doing here. And I'm the one that's going to get the opportunity to talk to you, so I'll be doing most of the questioning, and then we'll let them. My fellow board members ask any questions they want, and we'll vote to see if we're going to revoke your parole or not. Okay. Rule number 4, and of course, when you get out, you sign this paper agreeing to these rules. And so we're saying right now that we have problem, or the P&P officer said you had probable cause to believe that you violated number 4. That deals with criminal activity. So we're wondering if you got involved in criminal activity once you got out on parole. And so it says, according to the report, that in August of 2024, you were charged with unauthorized entry of an inhabited dwelling, criminal damage to property under 1,000, and criminal damage to property under 1,000. Okay, is that true? Were you charged with those?
Yes, sir. My charges was also dropped.
Okay, so those charges were, in effect, you were charged with them, and then the DA actually dropped those charges, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, tell me what happened on that particular incident.
Yes, I had gotten into it with my girlfriend, and we was having problems and stuff. I was talking to another girl, and she called the police on me, really just to put me in jail because I wouldn't stop talking to the other girl I was indulging with. And she ended up bailing me out, and the charges had got dropped.
Okay. Did you actually break in the house?
No, sir. Like she's supposed to be here witnessing. Like the house they say I broke. I lived. My parole officer know I lived there. I'm paroled at the house, so I never broke in the house. No, nothing like that.
Okay, were y'all still together, or she kicked you out?
We're still together.
You were still together at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell me about the criminal damage to property. Did you break her phones?
No, sir.
Did she break the phones?
Yes, sir.
So she broke her own phones.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Did she have to replace those phones?
I'm not sure.
Okay. That's kind of that. Okay. All right. Well, so she just made this up.
Yes, sir.
Reckon why she made it up?
Because I wasn't staying with her at the time. Like I was staying with my other girlfriend, which she lives like behind the house of my other girlfriend. Like it's like they basically like on the same street.
So you weren't staying there, but you felt like you kind of had free reign to go to either house with either girl.
Yes. I would go back and forth, but like I wasn't basically sleeping with her. It was a problem. So she's a very jealous woman, so she decided to call the police on me to have me locked up.
That ain't too smart, is it? Never mind. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to another in September of 2024, a month after this, the police were called and the victim was scared and they took you off because the victim at that time was scared that you were going to hurt her, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what victim was that? Was that the same jealous lady?
Dan Johnson.
Okay, so you got arrested in August, then in September, the police came and took you off, but you weren't arrested, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's because she was scared you're gonna hurt her. Then again in September of 24, you were charged. Matter of fact, it was kind of funny. That same day later on, you were actually put in jail, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at 1 a.m. they hauled you off because she was scared. And at 6 a.m., looks like you were charged with simple assault for threatening her and you were arrested, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me about that. Did you threaten her?
No, sir. Like, thing is, the officers, they let me go that day, and I was walking towards I was walking towards my other girlfriend's house. As soon as I walked towards there, they arrested me and charged me with simple assault, which I was leaving the house. I was trying to get away from the whole situation. But as soon as I was walking towards my other friend's house, they arrested me and charged me with those charges.
Okay, so that was jealous girlfriend.
Yes, sir.
Same, so we're still talking about jealous girlfriend on
Yes.
all so far. Okay, and then on October of 2024, you were charged and arrested with simple robbery, stalking, home invasion, and domestic abuse by strangulation. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and just before we get started with the story, this jealous girlfriend did this too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me about that incident.
I know October the 1st is when she particularly filed charges on me, and I know particularly that day I was with my other girl, Crystal, and she had told me she pressed charges on me, but I really didn't believe it. She told me that she pressed the charges on me if I marry her, she would get the charges dropped. But if I go out and I get arrested, I have to wait for her to get the charges dropped off of me, which I went to a place in Alexandria and I ended up getting arrested because of the warrants that was on me. And I'm here today speaking in front of you. But those charges, I never did none of those charges at all. she just filed charges on me falsely.
Okay. All right. I want to pause the interview with you for just a minute. And I'm probably going out of place here a little bit, but Miss Johnson, Donna Johnson, you're here today and you're the girlfriend. It says girlfriend. I'm not trying to be funny, but are you jealous, girlfriend? Or are you the
That's understatement. I'm very jealous. Hammer has a problem with cheating. That's the only issues we have.
only problems you have with him is the fact that he cheated?
Constantly.
Did he? Okay, and did you drop all the charges on here that
I
we
did. I
talked?
had all of his charges dropped. I actually went to the detective before he was even arrested and told him, hey, this is not really what happened. I was mad at him when all this happened. I would told him that if he went back with Crystal, that I was going to call the people on him because I knew that he was on probation. And
So
I knew
you
that
saw this-
I was basically trying to threaten him and make him stay with me is pretty much what I was trying to do.
So you made up all these lies and
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say false. Well, I got into argument. I was very aggressive. I'm an aggressive person. I'm very jealous, and I would go down there and try to confront and fight them all the time. Every time I called him with her, and every time I call him, I told him, I said, Hammer, if you do this again, I swear to God, I'm going to call the people. You're going back to jail. And he would go run his ass back to Crystal's house again. But she's since moved, so we don't have to worry about her.
do you realize this little spat that y'all are having, this ongoing deal? Do you know how much
We went to the
police got
police and
better
told them.
things to do than run out there every time you get jealous? And then
know.
you drop charges. I mean, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Dana. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Board, have any questions?
I have no questions.
Okay, any questions at all? Now back to Mr. Crow. Any questions?
Well, he was here in support, so you got it up. I'm gonna let her say what she's got to say.
Well, that's what I did.
Okay.
Did you? Miss Crow? Not Miss Crow. Hold on just a second. You got me, Miss Johnson? Is there anything else you want to say?
No, sir. Only that he really did not do any of this. This really was because of the fact he cheated on me. That I was mad basically, and I told him that if he continued to cheat on me, that every time that he would come back home, I would be mad at him because he would leave for like a day and go. And I knew where he was at, right down the road, and it was almost like it was just blankly in my face, and I would get pissed off about it. And
I want to ask the question.
Okay.
Okay. If he's released, are you guys getting back together or what?
yes, I hope so.
That's
But she's moved, so she's not. We've been together for 5 years.
I see. So your problem will be solved if while she's gone. Huh?
My problem would be solved if he wouldn't cheat.
it's most definitely solved.
Thank you.
So you're telling me today, right now, he didn't do anything at all?
He didn't do anything to me, no.
And
All of the
you're not
houses,
scared of it
the
one
houses in
bit?
both of our names, the money that they say he took is mine. I threw the phone at him. He didn't break the phone. I threw the phone at him.
So you're telling me you're not scared of him one bit at all?
No. Not at all. There's nothing to be scared of him about. We've been together for 5 years.
Okay, that's the only question I have.
Okay, is the board ready to vote? I got no more questions.
Yes, I am.
Ready to vote? Okay, Mr. Crow.
Yes, sir.
There's way too much activity going on for somebody that's on parole that's supposed to be abiding by the rules. Okay, your conduct has caused this. It's caused all these demands for service on law enforcement because of your activity, whatever you're doing. And I find that you are guilty of violating rule number 4, and your parole is hereby revoked. That's my vote.
All right. Trying to decide if I believe Ms. Johnson then or if I believe her now. I'm going to order that your probation be reinstated on the condition that you have absolutely no contact with Ms. Johnson or go within a quarter of a mile of her house.
Miss Johnson, that's you.
That's my vote.
That's Miss Johnson.
That's his girlfriend. That's.
Yeah, no more contact.
Okay, you don't want more
It's a
contact.
toxic relationship. It causes what's happening right here. And if he goes back, he's gonna end up in the same boat as he is right now, and he's gonna get himself revoked. If he don't want to agree to no contact, then my vote is to revoke now. I'm trying to protect you from yourself.
Revocation is 2 out of 3, so
I agree with, Mr. Prater. My vote's to, revoke.
okay. All right, Mr. Crow, your probation has been. Your
I
parole-
lied though, sir.
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
I told this, please.
Thank you. That's the end of this hearing right there. We're staying at Rapides, but that's the end of this hearing. Thank you.
So they revoke me.
I was actually hoping that they would take Mr. Barris's approach. I thought that was perfect. It's on condition that you don't see her again. And I mean, come on, if only Tillis would have agreed just to see. We saw that happen once before, though. We did see a similar situation where they ended up going with the Mr. Barris recommendation. We said, you're never going to see her again. And he was so quick to like, the guy who said, he's like, yes, I will never, I promise. And the woman who was the girlfriend, was like, her jaw dropped, like, how could you promise you'll never see me again? And in this case, the same thing. They should have just said that, because I don't know who to believe. Frankly, I mean, it is, you know, she's my, you know, I mean, I kind of could believe her, except here's the thing. When you start to look at the smoke and fire scenario, I don't know if you believe him anymore. And Lady Holly pulled up this information. So he has 6/17/2020 probation violation, battery of a dating partner. 11/8/20 criminal damage to property, battering of a dating partner. They call this one first offense. I don't know. False imprisonment, battering of a dating partner, simple battery DV. He has 9/23/2021 criminal damage to property, contempt of court. 7/12/2022 battery aggravated, probation violation, disturbing the peace, DV. Then he has this most recent one. So now she did say that they've been dating for 5 years, which would go back as long as his record goes. So unless she just keeps on calling and making things up and he's sticking with her. And here's the latest one, the home invasion, 10/29/2024, battery and strangulation. I mean, I don't know. For police to actually hit someone with home invasion, battery and strangulation, you would like to think that they would have more proof than just her statement. She doesn't have a protective order, but at the same time, the cops probably know him quite well by now. Look at it was 8/9/20, but even in a run up, September 26, 2024, October 30th, 2024, and then October, that's redundant. So October 29th, 2024, I don't know. Either way, for his sake, he needs to get away from her, and she needs to get away from him, but they shouldn't be together. That's for sure. I don't know how much time he's backing, but I do like the way the sheriff talks about this stuff. How funny is he? He's like, are you the jealous girlfriend? He's so funny. But we're about to see another hearing that is interestingly enough similar to this one, but there's a little bit of a twist. So it'll take a while to get there. And with that, let's jump in.
I can't, all I can say is
He
that,
claims that you slapped her.
no,
and-
sir, no, sir. It was no incident. It was no occurrence at all of no physical struggle. I'm not that type of man. Y'all only hearing my side. I wish she would have zoomed in like she was trying to do, and she could have clarified all of this. She really could have.
Do you have the last 4 digits of her cell phone number?
Yes, ma'am. Her cell phone number is
Okay, all right, stand by.
And they do get in touch with her, and she does show up on the Zoom call to tell the parole board whether or not he did what they claim he did. This is a parole revocation hearing for a man who really has not been able to stay out of prison. And we're about to see what the parole board decides to do. But before we do that, we are going to take a blast to the past, to his April 22nd, 2021 hearing. You see, we've seen this man before. So again, we're going to jump into that one and then lead up to present day of 2025. So with that, let's jump in.
It is Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. The time is 3:08 a.m. We are remotely located at Southwest Transitional Work Program. Would staff at the Southwest facility please introduce yourself for the record?
I'm Cheryl Cook.
All right, Ms. Cook, and I think our first case is there before us, and that is Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes,
Thomas,
Yes, ma'am.
would you tell us your name and DOC number, sir?
yes, ma'am. Craig Anthony Thomas, DOC 132425.
All right, Mr. Thomas, and it's my understanding you expected to have your attorney, I have him listed as Reverend Nash,
Yes, ma'am.
represent you today, and it's our understanding that he is no longer available this
No,
afternoon.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And that you, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I like I mentioned earlier, I'll proceed without him.
You want to go ahead and proceed without him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my name is Cheryl Renatza, serving as chair of today's parole panel with Mr. Tony Marabella, Mr. Victor Jones.
Okay.
I will read some information into the record and then we'll start the interview process with you. Mr. Craig, you're classified as a 5th felony offender. You're currently serving an 8-year sentence for distribution of cocaine, distribution of methamphetamines. You have parole eligibility is October 3rd, 2021. Good time is April 22nd, 2022, with a full term date, October 4th, 2027. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to start the interview process with you, Mr. Thomas. So how old are you, sir?
I'll be 51 tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mr. Thomas, you're, as I mentioned, you're classified as a 5th felony offender. So you've been on supervision before, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have I looked through all the facilities that you've been at throughout since 1990. You've been all around, everywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of places.
A lot of
But
places.
you've been revoked at least 5 times.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
And on this period of incarceration, it looks like you've been in jail about 9 months.
No, ma'am, I've been here. I've been here 9 months. I was incarcerated.
August of 2020 or June of 2020.
I think June of 2020.
Yeah, that's what I don't know about. That's when I show you haven't been moved to Calcasieu in June of 2020. You were released in June of 19, and then June in 2020, you're shown as having been at Calcasieu Correctional Center.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
For a new conviction.
Yes, ma'am.
So it'll be a year, I guess, in June.
Yes, ma'am.
Of an 8-year sentence.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm saying yes, ma'am, but no, I mean, no, ma'am.
You are trash.
I can't. I got arrested in 20. Was it 20? Yes, ma'am,
Yeah,
it was.
this is 2021.
Yes, ma'am, it was. It was. I just had a mental. Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
Okay. So these are what I show as your prior offenses: aggravated criminal damage, possession with intent to distribute cocaine, simple burglary, another possession with intent to distribute along with illegal possession of stolen things, and then this particular drug offense.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's going on in your life? What's all that about?
Man, I've been dealing with a bad addiction for a long time, and when I come to jail, you know, it's like a sleeping tiger, like they say, a sleeping tiger. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat it. And the only thing, I mean, I'm up in age now, and that's really the only thing got me humble, you know, and pushing
Right. So you
forward.
do good when you're in a structured environment, but when you
Yes,
go back on
ma'am.
the street, what happens? What do you think? I mean, you've only been in jail less than a year, so you can go
Just
back to the
people-
same thing?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I've started a good little trend. I've started working. I've found a little religion. I found a little
Mhm.
peace. I'm gonna say it like that.
Mhm.
I'm at peace. I'm
Are
at
you
peace.
working now?
Yes, ma'am. Matter of fact, I start working tonight at Golden Nugget, at the casino out here.
What you gonna do there? You know?
I'm gonna be heavy stewarded, like going in after it's closed, cleaning up all the restaurants, the grease
Mhm.
stuff.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. What kind of job did you have when you were on the street?
I'm a cement finisher. That's my trade. I'm a cement finisher by trade. And I did a lot of. I was working at Alfred Miller Construction out there for a little while, and then I left Alfred Miller and went to. I turned myself into a detox place, Lake Charles
Mhm.
Mental Health. But just being honest, after a few days there, I couldn't. You know, the temptation of it. I just, you know, I've been dealing with that addiction. That addiction is.
Yeah.
It's
So
not.
you
It's
left
not,
that mental health center to go back out and get you
yes,
some
ma'am.
more drugs.
Yes, ma'am. That's pretty
Yeah.
much.
You remember when that was? What year?
That was.
How many years ago?
Yeah, it was years ago. That was. Matter of fact, I was working. I was working at Alfred Miller, and I failed a urine test over there, and I've been at that company a long time. So instead of them firing me, they just told me to go try to give me
Right.
some help, and I did, and not long after I left there, I got incarcerated. I got incarcerated. So, but that's pretty much.
So it looks like, okay, I'm looking at your record, and you went through Blue Walters, that's a substance abuse treatment program in 2004.
Mhm.
You went through Richwood, the Blue Walters program at Richwood in 2008.
Yes, ma'am.
You went through Blue Walters again, it looks like maybe in 2014. So what's it going to take for you to be able to not run towards the drugs?
What it's gonna take is what it took. I honestly feel like through religion, I'm gonna say that through religion, because through this incarceration right here, I've really grounded myself and tried to, because it's enough. Enough is enough. I'm finna be 51 tomorrow, and I didn't gave Department of Corrections over 20 years. Right at 20 on layaway, and enough is enough. I got 13 grandchildren out there. I just lost my mother. And my father is 89 years old, and I don't even like talking to him on the phone because he's telling me they're not treating him right. So that's, you know, I'm really, I need to get home. I need to get out there, and I just need to stay grounded in this structured environment, as you put it. But I didn't put forth a few steps to prepare myself to go home to a different environment.
So tell me what your plan is. How you
I
going to
have a nice support system. Like my lawyer that was gonna represent me, he's a preacher, and he's went ahead and got me some good contacts for some people that's gonna go, you know, a little above and beyond. You know, a guy that a mentor supposed to mentor me, like you know, like in the support groups. I got a pretty. I mean, I did more this time to prepare myself to go home than I ever did, because I feel like this is the last straw for me. It is. I mean, because if I go home and come back, I won't be able to go home and get a job I'll be too old to work. Like I still got 10 good years left in me to work. You know, I'm a healthy
Well,
man.
hopefully more than that.
Well, I mean, hopefully,
Hopefully.
but I mean, I'm you know, I mean, a good,
Listen,
I'm saying a good.
listen. Let me just tell you, Mr. Thomas, you know, you're saying all the right things, but when I look at your record and I see that
record.
you've been given multiple chances to do through probation, you were given the opportunity for probation to stay out of jail, and you got revoked. You couldn't follow the rules. You'd go back to jail.
Yeah.
So that was very poor performance. I also look at your record and I see there's a domestic abuse issue in 2019. That's concerning to me. And you have a moderate risk assessment score. So I'm really glad that is this your first job through work release at the,
No,
at
ma'am.
the
When I
Golden
first-
Nugget?
No, ma'am. When I first got here in September of 20, I started working for IDIM in October. I worked for them for a month. And I got laid off from there. And then that's when I started going to classes. And then I'm just starting to go back to
And so you're working nights. Are you still gonna be able to do classes?
yes, ma'am. I'm gonna still be able to do classes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, good. Well, I'm inclined to let you finish, you know, go get your job, get stabilized there, do the classes, earn some good time credits and
Yes, ma'am.
make yourself a plan for success.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
that's just kind of where I'm at. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
ask you any more questions. I'm going to defer to my colleagues. Mr. Marabella.
Okay.
Mr. Thomas, you mentioned something I found interesting, so I want to follow up on a little more. You said you in one of the questions that was asked by Ms. Renazzi, you said you're like a sleeping tiger, or it's like a sleeping tiger to be in prison. Tell me what you mean by that.
Because normally when I come to jail, while I'm in jail, I would keep all the same friends I had because I would need financial help. And that's the only people I knew was the people I did drugs with. So when I would go home, that would be the same people that I would end up going to, meaning the sleeping tiger part would be I'm in jail in a structured environment where I can't get to drugs. So it would always be, you know, but that's why I say I know I'm better because I'm working. I have access to do whatever it is I want to do, and I've made a conscious decision not to do it. You know, so I know I'm better because I'm in a position where I'm in a position where I wouldn't even been able to make it to y'all. I would have been in trouble already because over here where I'm at, I'm free. This is free over here where I'm at. I mean, you don't have no handcuffs, no nothing over here. I go out the gate, I come in, they piss test us, they do everything. I'm doing good. I really am. I'm proud of myself.
Well, you are doing good. You are doing good, and you do function well in a structured environment. You need to figure out how you can get that structured environment to be out when you're a free man.
Yes, sir.
You need to enclose yourself with that structure, and it starts from the inside out. You got to realize, and you're taking the classes, you're doing the things you're supposed to do. You're on the right track. So I like what you're saying.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Thomas,
Yes, sir.
how long have you been doing drugs?
I've started doing
When
drugs.
you started, yeah.
I started doing drugs when I was 17 years old.
Not till you were 17?
I started when I was 17, yes, sir.
Until 17. So we're looking at about 37, 38 years.
Yes, sir.
You got an uphill battle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Mr. Jones. It's a hell of a fight.
Yep,
It's a hell of a fight.
And I'm happy that you in the transitional work program to get a chance to make you some money and
Yes,
everything. Sir. And I'm glad to see you go to work at the Golden Nugget. Is that supervised while you're working?
Yes, sir. That's supervised.
Be careful. All I can tell you, be careful.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
Yes, sir.
We don't want nothing to happen to you out there that follow you back to jail.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
How about mental health evaluation? Have you had one lately?
No, sir. I haven't. When I was first went to the Miss, I don't want to say her name wrong. Miss Cheryl had mentioned something about the moderate risk thing up here. When I first got here and I went to the classes, you know, they was pretty much asking you, they would ask us what was to assess us, they was asking what was going on with us. And I was honest with them and I told them, due to an addiction, you know, I deal with a lot of anger issues. Not with people, with myself. I'm mad at myself, Mr. Jones. You know, I let a lot of people down, but I mean, mostly myself. But
Have you taken any anger management program?
I spoke with them and this is what they told me over here. They said, you have to go to reentry first before I can be put in an anger management class. And I only was able to take the Living in Balance 2 so far since I've been here, but I'm on the list to go to reentry starting next week, I think. The lady had just told me.
Well, you realize you got a problem with anger, even though you anger at yourself, that could be a problem for you.
It is, but that's a problem. Yes, sir, it is.
So you need to try to make sure you get that program before you release that anger in anger management.
Yes, sir. I asked. I inquired about it. I asked. I did.
You know, being that long on drugs and everything, you got a pretty good obstacle to overcome.
Yes, I do. I really do.
But you have a lot of good reasons to do the right thing.
Yes, sir.
I can't think of them 13 them grandbabies out there.
Yes, sir. 13.
That's 13 good reasons for you to do the right thing and get back home to try to help them and steer them in the right directions.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm sure they struggle too.
Yes, sir. And with the pandemic going on, it's a real struggle.
Well, apparently, if you're a cement finisher, you was a cement finisher, you said, on the outside.
Yes, sir.
That's hard work. That's hard work. But it's honest work.
Yes, sir.
It's hard but honest work. How about physical health? You in pretty good condition?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Yeah. No health issues at all.
Okay.
I've been blessed.
Great. No other questions, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Cook, is there anything you can add?
Not much, ma'am. He's been doing really good. And like I said, he's just fixing to start going back to work now. And but we haven't had any problem. He's done very well here.
Good to hear. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Thomas, anything you want to say to us before we vote?
No, ma'am. I just thank y'all. I thank y'all. I appreciate the opportunity. And I thank y'all, man. I really do. I mean, because this is an opportunity. Like you said, I'm looking at my record. A lot of guys don't even get this opportunity.
You're right. That's right.
So
You're right.
So when I got here and I inquired about it, and they told me, keep your nose clean, you get a chance. I did it, and I got the chance, and that's all I wanted was a chance. Thank y'all.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say the things you're saying. But as I mentioned to you, I think that you're in a good place right now. I'm thankful that you're there at that facility to give you the opportunity to work and at the same time still do programs. You know how many people don't get that opportunity?
Yes, ma'am, I know.
So I want you to go to work. I want you to keep that job. As Mr. Jones says, you're going to have some temptations there, and you just got to stick to it and don't get in trouble, and take your classes. You'll get some extra good time. You'll be out early. But I'm going to vote to deny you today because of your criminal history. I do wish you well. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Marabella, you're on mute.
Mr. Thomas, my vote is going to be the same. I like what you got to say. You've got a good personality. I think you're going to make it. You 50 years old, you're young. You got a lot of years young. You said you got 10 years left. You got a lot more years. But we want you to do them on the outside and not on the inside like you are now. You know, you put that sleeping tiger to bed. You you get the treatment that you need, and you get the structure that you need. I mean, you recognize the fact that, wow, when I've got structure, I do real well. But when I get with all my old partners, things go south. So learn how to be able to stay away from those people. So
Yes, sir.
my vote would be to deny too, but you're moving in the right direction.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones?
Thomas, I concur with my colleagues. You know what you need to do.
Yes, sir.
You know what you need to do, and I encourage you to do that for you and them grandbabies. But my vote today would be to deny also.
All right. Good luck to you, sir. Today your parole's been denied, but you know what you got to do. Go do
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Good luck.
Thank y'all.
Well, was he able to put the sleeping tiger to bed? I mean, what I've got to tell you is that he did get out. He got out probably just on good time. I don't know the precise date, but we, as you know, are about to see him again. And it's a parole revocation hearing. And oh man, I look again, like I don't know what's in his jacket. It seems that he has a long record, but we don't have any information on him except for an arrest for attempt with possession with intent to distribute. Don't know how much time he got on that. That was in 2011. But anyways, let's see the cause of this. Let's see if they revoke. And it's an interesting one. So thank you, Lady Holly, for connecting the dots and Sir Richard's spreadsheet. That allows us to tie these hearings together. And if you want to see more hearings like this, it's in the Return of playlist. It's a playlist called Return of. That's where we string together hearings like this. And with that, let's jump in.
All right, we're ready for Mr. Thomas. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good. Would you, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Good. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, sir.
My name is Craig Anthony Thomas. DOC number is 132425.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you're here for a revocation decision this morning. Is that a parole revocation questionnaire in your hand?
Yes, ma'am. And I must have overlooked something because I signed it, and I'm just noticing on number 2 it says, "Can you read and write?" And it says no, and I can't read and write.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But and we'll make that correction on our end, that based on the other answers to the other questions on that form, it means you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. So I think that Christy Foley was trying to sign in, but we're unable to reach her. But we're going to go ahead and continue, and maybe she'll be able to join before we finish this process. But your case this morning has been assigned to Mr. Freeman, who I'll turn it over to him so he can talk to you about the allegations.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Thomas, first I'm gonna read the violations and you plead guilty, not guilty, with a statement or without a statement. And then we'll discuss the circumstances surrounding it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You engaged in new criminal activity on or about 6/1/24, which led to your arrest by the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office for new criminal charges of domestic abuse, battery, misdemeanor, and theft of a motor vehicle. On December 12, 2024, you pled guilty to theft under $1,000 and was sentenced to 6 months in the parish jail with credit for time served. The charge of domestic abuse battery has been dropped by the district attorney in the 14th JDC due to no cooperation from the victim. How do you plead to the first violation of the theft?
I plead guilty. I plead guilty with a statement, if I may.
Don't make your statement.
It was this arrest was clearly just a bad communication thing, because I had just moved to the Sis Trunk address, and my landlord had approved us to rent the own thing, and I was on a lease, and my stepdaughter's vehicle had been parked in the yard for a long period of time. So the landlord had put a note on the door one day telling us that it was like a brief of contract. So me not understanding the law or whatever, I did it wrong. My landlord told me to remove it, and I removed it, and it resulted in my stepdaughter not even questioning us, and like somebody stole it and made a report. And later on, come to find out that it was just bad communication. That's why I pled guilty to it in open court to a misdemeanor theft. It was just bad communication because the vehicle was in my stepdaughter's boyfriend name, and I just did it wrong. I did it totally wrong.
So what did you do with the vehicle? You sold it to a scrap yard?
Yes, sir. I called the tow truck and had it removed and brought it to the scrap yard. Yes, sir.
How much did they give you for it?
$250.
Okay, and there was a civil judgment in the case for $3,000.
I think so. When I went to court, I had an attorney, and it was just I was just really just being honest. Being that it was my stepdaughter's vehicle and it was a just bad misunderstanding, I accept ownership for it, and I felt bad. So even though that's my stepdaughter and we have a real close family, I'm a reimburse her anyway. But I mean, you know, peace of mind and love is priceless. I wouldn't have never done nothing to hurt my stepdaughter. You know what I'm saying? But it was just bad communication. I didn't know the law.
Okay, and what about the domestic abuse battery charge?
That was bad. That was bad. I mean, here I am today standing before you. I'm 54 years old, and I have a long history of trouble, but I'm not a woman beater. I love my fiance, and that was just bad because when it was called out, and I'm gonna take ownership of my actions. But in 2015, and 2010, I came to jail. I was arrested on some charges. And the guy at that time was a jailer in the jail. The same guy was called out as a detective in this case. So his demeanor towards me was, you know how they say you get what you put in. His last encounter with me was in the jailhouse, like in 2010. So he didn't have a good rapport for me, and I'm a changed person. So he didn't even give me a chance to explain myself. Really, this night they came out like it was a big old ordeal. And I'm once again, I'm no woman beater. That's, you know what I'm saying, I'm not. That's why I was hoping my girl would have came in and she could explain it more.
Well, her having a little cut up above the eye and red marks on her face, how did that happen?
I can't, all I can say is
She claims that you slapped her.
No, sir. No, sir. It was no incident. It was no occurrence at all of no physical struggle. I'm not that type of man.
You are trash.
Okay.
So to anything dealing with like a physical marks or something, I would have to say like no, that's not, no.
Let's see, according to CPSO, she told deputies, according to the report, Christy Foley told deputies on 4/30/24 that her live-in boyfriend, Craig Thomas, struck her on the back of the head with an open or closed fist. Thomas had already left the residence at the time. Foley told deputies that she has dealt with this abuse throughout their 12-year relationship. And then they went on to say deputies didn't observe any physical damage and that they encouraged her to get a protective order. So she was lying to the police?
I don't want to stand before y'all and say that the police report was fabricated because y'all only hearing my side. I wish she would have zoomed in like she was trying to do, and she could have clarified all of this. She really could have.
Do you have the last 4 digits of her cell phone number?
Yes, ma'am. Her cell phone number is.
Okay. All right, stand by. This is not the correct number.
Three. Yes, ma'am.
This is the wrong, that's the wrong number.
What's that? Bridge?
What is that, 23 and 2? Social number? Yeah, sure.
But you have a lot of good reasons to do the right thing.
You to do them on the outside. and not on the inside like you are now. You
I'm
know,
thankful that you're
you-
there at that
you put
facility
that
to give you the
sleeping tiger
opportunity to
to
work.
bed.
And at the
You,
same time, still do programs.
you
You know how
know,
many
you
people don't
get
get that
the
opportunity?
treatment that you need.
Yes, ma'am, I
You
know.
get
Thank
that
you.
So is there
stable
anything you can go to
structure
work? I
that you
want you to
need.
keep
And
that
you
job. As
recognize
Mr.
the
Jones
fact
says,
that,
you're gonna
wow,
have some
Not
when
temptations there
when I've
and you
got
just gotta stick
structure,
to it.
I do
And
real well.
don't
When I
get in
get with
trouble
all my
and
old
like I
and
said,
taking
he's
partners,
just fixing to
classes
things
start going
go
back to
and get
work
some
south.
extra
now,
guitar and
so
piano.
You know,
we
I'm
haven't
gonna
had
hope
any
that
problems.
you
He's
put
done
that
well.
sleeping tiger to bed.
All right, I think she was able to get in. Christy, are you there? You have to unmute your phone.
Uh-oh.
There you are.
Oh,
Good
yes,
morning.
ma'am. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So this is Christy Foley.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Can you
I'm
hear me?
gonna let Mr. Freeman ask you some questions about what happened on June 1st.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Foley, I'm reading from the arrest report now. There was 3 deputies at your house. I spoke with the victim, later identified as Chrisley Foley. She stated she got in a verbal argument with the subject, later identified as Craig Thomas. Foley stated the argument escalated into a physical altercation where Thomas pushed past Foley in a doorway to the bathroom in the residence. Foley stated she didn't push Thomas. Thomas slapped Foley with an open hand on the left side of her face. Foley stated after Thomas slapped her, she told Thomas that she was walking to the store to buy a cigarette. Foley called law enforcement when she arrived at the store.
That's a false statement. I never
What?
told him anything because we didn't get into an argument. They came on the 30th. They came to arrest Craig for theft of a truck. Was a misunderstanding of a truck. Well, when they came, Craig wasn't home. So I called him, he came home later on that step. But when they came the first time, they came like 20 units, a lot. And the man was very aggressive with me. Told me I was hiding Craig inside. Craig wasn't even home. So, and when Craig did come home, we did get into an argument. Craig never put his hands on me. I pushed him out the way to get out the house because I was aggravated. Because the truck issue should have never been a theft at all. So when I got down the road, we don't live far from the store, and I'm a heavy set girl, and it's hot outside. As soon as I round the corner, he was sitting right there. So he harassed me the whole way to the store. He kept asking me why my face was so red. I said, "Sir, it's hot out here. I got a long sleeve shirt on and jogging pants." And he said, "Oh, so Craig must be home." I said, "Yes, sir, he is home." So he kept saying, but on the 30th when they came, it was like noon. He told me if I didn't call when Craig got there, that he would make sure I went to jail until Craig turned himself in. This man has hated Craig for a long time because Craig's passed. A long time. When Craig lived in Lake Charles. But Craig has been doing so good. He had a good job. We just got this house. And Craig didn't hit me at all. Now we were fussing about, life things. But I signed a piece of paper, sir, a yellow piece of paper. There was 3 papers, a white, a pink, and a yellow. I signed that paper and told that man, Craig should not be taken for domestic violence. No one said he hit me. And that man told me he was going to take him anyway. He's been on Craig and he's taking him. I got the yellow piece of paper. I can't find it. But there was 3 papers. And I got the yellow copy. And I showed the lawyer and everything. Craig never hit me at all. I pushed him. And I told the officer, I said, well, domestic violence, we should have both gone. He said, no, not you at all. And I pleaded with that man. I said, Craig never hit me. And I signed the paper. I do not, never touched me and everything. I got the yellow copy. I never
Did
told that
you
man.
call police or they were just there?
Well, he told me if I didn't call them and tell them they were there, that it would be on me as the theft of the truck too. We would both go. The theft, it shouldn't have been a theft of a truck. My landlord wrote a letter to whoever, the DA.
Cops. Answer my question. Did you call the cops?
Yes, I had. He made me call when I got to the store. Yes, sir.
Oh, so he was with you? Who was with you?
He made me follow me to the store while other units came out to my house. He followed me all the way to the store, and my daughter met me at the store.
Police followed you? The police followed you?
Yes, sir, because he wanted to know where I was going. And I told him to get cigarettes. And he said, why is your face red? I said, sir, I'm a big girl. I'm a heavy set woman. And it's hot. I got long sleeves on and some jogging pants. And it's hot. And he said, well, Craig's home. I said, yes, sir, he's home. He said, well, you need to call and let him know. Why call and let him know when there's units flying by
When
me?
you call the cops, you call Craig.
Sir?
You didn't call the cops, you called Craig.
No, I had to call and let he said call 911, let him know that Craig's back at the house. So I did what he said.
Why would he do that and not just do it
I
on?
had he told me if I didn't call them when Craig got there, that I would be going to jail too. So
Okay,
I did what he said.
gotcha.
I did exactly what he said.
So that was on
But I
April,
had no marks on my face, no
that was on
nothing.
April 30th.
No, that was on the first when Craig got arrested. They came on 30th to arrest him for the truck. No one called for domestic violence. When that
Right,
man,
listen, it says on April 30th, at about 3:26, the deputy was dispatched to your address for a disturbance. The deputy was met at the door by you. You initially advised that they had just missed the suspect, Craig, I guess about the truck, in a white Dodge. She stated that he had been beating on her door for some time, and when she finally opened the door, Thomas forced his way inside. Foley advised when he pushed in his way, it turned her around, and then she was struck in the back of the head, unknown whether it was open hand or closed fist. Foley stated that they have been on and off for the past 12 years, that she has dealt with abuse and threats throughout the relationship.
I never said that. Never said that. And it only just the other man just said it was. They said he slapped me with an open hand. Craig never touched me at all. Period. Now I got Craig to come back home. Craig didn't have to come bang on the door. That's his house. He has the keys.
Maybe I can help here. We're talking about two different domestic calls, right?
Yes.
No,
that-
sir. They came
Well-
out on the 30th. They came out because my daughter made a report for the truck being stolen.
Okay,
Which
what about,
They didn't come for domestic violence on the 30th, sir. They never did. They came for theft of a truck.
time out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go back to April the 30th of 24.
Yes, sir.
April the 30th.
Yes, sir.
And that's when, according to the report, you
No, sir.
told,
They came on the 30th for theft of a motor vehicle. My daughter made the report of a Ford Expedition.
no
We
ma'am,
had to get rid. Sir, I raised my right hand to God. They did not come.
wait just a second. Let me just tell you what's on here and you can help straighten me out. Okay? On April the 30th of 24, the police came, and that's when the conversation, do you agree the police came April the
I
30th?
do agree the police came because my daughter called them and made a
Okay.
report.
That's when the police report says you told him you had 12 years of abuse and he's done all these things. Okay.
No, I did
Did
not
that-
tell that man that. I never spoke about
Okay.
that to that man.
Okay.
They kept
And
my
now-
dog was behind.
When was the truck reported stolen? Well, you muted. Wait a second.
Sorry. On the 30th, my daughter, Destiny Foley Phillips.
April the 30th.
April the 30th. It was probably around 12, 1 o'clock, 2 at the latest. And
Okay.
she reported the truck stolen because it's her ex fiance's name. It's not even in
Right.
my daughter's name, but the truck was missing.
Okay, and that's,
And they came
Okay.
to my house.
truck got towed away, sold for scrap.
Exactly.
Did Mr. Thomas give y'all any money for that truck?
No, sir.
When he sold it for scrap? Did he tell you he had sold it for scrap? Or did y'all think it was stolen?
Did we what?
Did y'all think it was stolen or did you know he
No, I
sold?
knew my landlord wrote a letter to the DA.
I
I had
understand.
to move the truck. The truck had to go or we were getting evicted.
Did you know Mr. Thomas stole the
Yes,
truck from the scrap yard?
Yes, I did.
And that wasn't what y'all was arguing about.
No, sir. We had to get rid of the truck.
Now then, let's fast forward
Mhm.
another month to June the 2nd. Okay, June the 2nd. That's why we're here today. Okay,
April
June
30th and
2nd.
June 1st.
June 1st or 2nd. The
Oh, no,
reports.
no, I'm thinking, no, they didn't come on April for the truck. They came, Craig,
That's what
when
I'm
was that?
talking.
They
Okay,
came at 12.
now you understand why I'm so screwed
Yes,
up.
sir. I'm thinking April,
That's
May,
an
June.
old.
Yes, but
Don't interrupt me. Hush, hush, please. Please, listen. On April, that's a different domestic call, nothing to do with the truck. That was something else. Different policeman and everything. And you told them you'd had 12 years of abuse. Then the truck gets called in, stuck.
I've never told anyone.
How can you
I've been
tell me
abused.
you keep talking? Okay, I'm talking about 3.
If you can tell me who.
You don't follow what we're saying, don't you?
Yes, it's different incidents.
It's 3 different incidents.
It was 2 different incidents on May and June. He got arrested June 1st. And they came the day before.
Right, but then go back to before the truck was moved from the yard. Go back to April, when the police came out on a domestic situation.
I don't remember the police coming out on the domestic situation because no one said anything about domestic.
You are trash, Lindsay. You are trash.
I did.
I know
So
you're
I read the
saying that, but
report.
I don't recall anybody coming and talking to me and telling them, because that would have been false information. Craig, don't beat on me.
Okay, so if
anything, I'm a big girl. I can handle myself.
They
I'm
made
gonna hit you back.
They made that incident and the police report up from April.
Oh, it keeps muting me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't recall it at all, and I don't recall it.
Okay, I'm sorry to have taken it long in your case.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay, also want to state, where's Mr. Thomas? Condition number 10 on the fees. How did you plead to that charge, Mr. Thomas?
I plead guilty to that. I owed him a little money because I was waiting for, in my heart, I was waiting for income tax to come out and I was just gonna pay it in full.
Okay, had you ever made payments before?
Sir?
Have you ever made any payments before?
No, I just been home. I just came home in December. I just started working at a pipeline plant in Starks.
Gotcha. All right, I have no further.
Right. Here to vote. We're ready to vote, Mr. Thomas.
Okay, it's a very confusing situation, but.
And I know it is. I know it is.
You did plead guilty to the car theft, but you admit that you took the car and sold it.
Yes, right? I did.
And then we had the violence, but we're not going to go there. You had a conviction for the car theft. I found that you violated condition number 4 and number 10, and I choose to revoke your probation. I vote to revoke your probation.
Mr. Prater.
Concur.
And I also concur, Mr. Thomas. Based on, I find you guilty of violating condition number 4 relative to the car or truck. So my vote today also is to revoke. So today, sir, your parole's being revoked. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That concludes our business there at that facility. We're going to sign off at 9:52.
Auntie was revoked. And look, I don't know. She was speaking so adamantly, so passionately. I almost wanted to believe her. But the problem is that we see this all the time. We see it over and over and over again, almost in every docket with DV. the woman comes in and says it's not true. So what that means is that the police reports are wrong, everything, the witnesses, everything's wrong, and we see it when there's body camera footage. We see it when there's every single bit of evidence that it's saying that it actually happened. And I just don't get it. You're going to call the cops. You're going to say you're afraid. You're going to do all those things, and then you're just going to back it up and retract it and put your kids in a dangerous situation and putting the police in a dangerous situation. And then you come back on like, oh, I changed my mind. It doesn't. There's something wrong with that so much that it. And look, I know people say, "Man, dude, don't understand." You know, DV. It's they're the victims and they need help and they're in this situation. And I get it. I agree. There's a lot of you in the chat that have been in this situation once or twice in your life, and we should feel compassion and empathy for the person. But I think we're still allowed to feel frustrated while we see it from the outside, because I don't think anyone wins. It would just be, if you were to say, let them, it would just, it's just feeding into the problem, I think. But I'm happy. We're not an echo chamber. Feel free to admonish me for not taking this, for throwing in the emojis or whatever. I need feedback. This isn't a live audience. I don't know how you guys feel about it unless I can read about it in the comment section or an email. But anyways, the bottom line, again, it comes down to selling the car. And I don't think there's anything else that could have gotten him to sell the car except for falling back on the wagon. That's just my opinion. People, you get desperate, you lose. And did he say he had only gotten back in December? Did I hear that correctly? Did it take him that short of a period of time from getting out? Does that mean was he in work release all this time from 2021 until December 2025? If that's true, that's just crazy. This is an epic failure. And to imagine taking, what was it? Was it her daughter's car? I can't remember. And selling it. And you don't think straight. You don't think straight when you get back on this stuff. And as Mr. Marabellis, what was it? The sleeping tiger. Like he even said it. He said it. Mr. Marabella brought it up. I think that was a great analogy. And he knew himself. He has a sleeping tiger. When he's under structure, he can work well. But that sleeping tiger just jumps out with all its claws and takes control. I don't know how much time he's back in, what he's going to have to do now. But I got to tell you, I don't think she did him any favors by showing up. I think that's the first time we've seen where someone's like, I wish they could come on. And the parole revocation board actually says, well, what's her number? Let's call her. I don't know if we've seen that. And then they get through. And I don't know. I felt like, if anything, it just agitated the parole board. I like it was just not a good look. What they want to see, I think they want to see that there be, if releasing him to her, for example, would be a good place. It'd be I don't know. They want to see when people have accountability, when people admit to what they've done wrong, when people explain why it is that they've done it. I mean, my guess would be if he had come out and just said, hey, I went back on the stuff. And I acted out. He didn't hurt her severely. We've seen much worse. There was, I don't know, there's two reports. One, they said there was a mark. One, they said there wasn't a mark. But, it could have been, okay, well, maybe we'll send you to a 9-month program. But not that it would make a difference, the programs. He's been in and out of prison his whole life. But again, thank you, Lady Holly, for connecting the dots on Sir Richard's spreadsheet here. And if you want to see more of these, make sure to check out the return of playlist. That's where these hearings are going. We've got plenty more to do. With that, I'll let you go.
I want you to do them on the outside and not on the inside like you are now.
I'm thankful that you're there at that facility to give you the opportunity to work. And at the
You,
same time, still do programs. You know how many people don't get that
the
opportunity.
treatment that you need.
Yes,
and
ma'am, I
you
know.
get
So
the,
I want you to go to
structure
work.
that
I
you
want you to
need.
keep
And
that
you
job. As
recognize
Mr.
the
Jones
fact
says,
that,
you're gonna
wow,
have some
when
temptations there and
when I've
you
got
just gotta stick
structure,
to it
I
and
do real
don't
well. But
don't
when I
get in
get with
trouble
all my old
and
podness,
take your
things
classes.
go
You
south.
get some extra good time, you'll be
So,
out early.
you know,
I'm gonna vote to deny
you
yours
put that
today.
sleeping tiger to bed.